Lital, good morning. Thank you for joining us once again.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me.
What can you tell us about the latest between the Israeli forces and Hamas?
Yeah, so as you reported, we had a tragic incident of IDF soldiers shooting towards hostages who were walking towards them in the most flammable neighborhood in the Gaza Strip. We're talking about Sajaiya neighborhood, where literally every day soldiers are being killed by terrorists in that neighborhood. At the moment, we're hearing or we're getting information from the Wall Street Journal about the head of Mossad, the Israeli Mossad, who met last night with the Prime Minister of Qatar, and trying to get some sort of a deal to release more hostages. At the moment, Israel is just waiting for Hamas to cave in, to give us some information about the hostages. We're talking about 127 hostages who are still being held by Hamas. So Israel is looking forward to get some sort of a deal that we can release our hostages.
Do we know the three hostages that were killed, had they somehow escaped their captors, or why would three of them be walking toward IDF forces by themselves?
Yeah, so if you ask me, they got released by Hamas terrorists who were holding them in order to see what will happen once they will meet the IDF soldiers. So I will take you inside of Sajaiya neighborhood. Sajaiya neighborhood is a neighborhood who got evacuated completely from civilians, evacuated completely from Gazan civilians. So the only people who are walking around that neighborhood are either terrorists or snipers of Hamas who are looking to shoot Israeli IDF soldiers. So, and that's why we're talking about this tragic incident where our IDF soldiers accidentally shot those hostages, because no Gazan civilian is supposed to walk around that neighborhood. I actually myself filmed a story 2 days ago inside Sajaiya, interviewed this female paramedic who is been located in Gaza for the past 2 months. My cameraman was walking by himself inside these houses while the IDF soldiers told him, you cannot walk here by yourself, because if you are unidentified as an IDF soldier, someone might shoot you. These are empty neighborhoods, no civilians. All the civilians were being taken down towards the southern part of the Gaza Strip, which means the only people who are walking around there are mostly terrorists. In that specific area, only 2 days ago, we had 10 IDF soldiers who were killed by terrorists in an ambush in that exact neighborhood. So unfortunately, we're talking about a tragic mistake, but it is a lethal war zone. You have IDF forces shooting at one another. I think around 20% of the shootouts towards the IDF soldiers are one force shooting towards another force. It's a very, very complicated area and a very, very flammable area, the Gaza Strip. Very, very tight, very crowded, and it's a tragic mistake.
Does the IDF, excuse me, does the IDF have information as to where specifically these 120 or so hostages are being held, or do they have them in different locations?
That's an excellent question, and I wish we had any information about where are they located. Obviously, if we had any information, the IDF would have gone and tried and rescue these hostages. At the moment, we're not getting any information from the Red Cross. We're not getting any information from any international body, whilst Israel is allowing hundreds of humanitarian aid into Gaza. We are not getting any information about our men, women, children. We're talking about a 10-month-year-old baby who is being held by Hamas, a 2-year-old baby who is being held by Hamas, and we are getting zero information from the Red Cross or from anyone else about the condition of these hostages, and we need to release them as soon as possible, because every day that goes by just put them in a larger risk. So whenever I'm hearing the international community, we heard the UN voting for a ceasefire between Israel and Gaza. I'm asking the UN, what about the releasing of the hostages? You need to demand a full release of the innocent civilians, the innocent Israeli civilians who's been held by Hamas for over 2 months.
Is there any prediction as to how much longer this fighting will go on, or is just getting the hostages the end game, period?
Yeah, so the end game is not just getting back the hostages. The IDF spokesperson unit announced this week that this war is going to last for a few months later, because the end game is kicking out all Hamas terrorists from the Gaza Strip. So you have to understand, it's like America will sit next to an ISIS entity. We need to eliminate this threat from our borders. We need to chase every single Hamas member who was involved in the massacre of October 7. We need to kick them out of the Gaza Strip, and that is the only way we can bring back safety, security, both to Israel and to the population of the Gaza Strip, to the Palestinian population in the Gaza Strip.
Do you have any predictions as far as when the fighting is over, the future for the Gaza Strip?
As I said, I unfortunately do not know. All I know is that we need to fight these terror organizations controlling the Gaza Strip. And at the moment, both the Palestinian Authority and Hamas are paying their people to go and murder Jews. Actually, the Nukhba terrorists who committed the massacre, the October 7th massacre, are getting salaries, monthly salaries by the Palestinian Authority. That's the rule in the Palestinian Authority. The more Jews you're killing, the more money you're getting. It's a pay-for-slay method. So once Israel would eliminate Hamas, will manage to fight Hamas, I think the next stage would be telling the Palestinian Authority, you need to stop paying money for terrorists if you want to keep ruling the Palestinian Authority. I think the countries of the world, taxpayers' money from the U.S., from Europe, is being sent, millions of dollars being sent to the Palestinian Authority as an aid, as an aid for the authority, whilst the money, most of the money, just goes for salaries for terrorists. And I think that's the first thing that needs to stop.
All right, Lital Shemesh. Lital, thank you once again for your time and for the update. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.